Uh, Good afternoon, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. I have great pleasure in welcoming you all to this interesting and very useful webinar for the management professionals on Gati Shakti, a powerful digital project management platform. It is my privilege to welcome Dr. Suren Kumar Ahirwar to speak to us on this subject. Dr. Ahirwar handles this uh, program in the government of India, and uh, there would better person than him to talk on this subject. I will now briefly introduce Dr. Ahirwar. I may inform you, sir, that a large number of members of LMA and AIMA have joined this program across the country. And besides the member of LME, we had also circulated the video link to the Indian Railway Institute of Transport Management located in Lucknow. And hopefully a few of their members would be joining this program. Dr. Suren Kumar Ahirwar is a 1996 batch officer of Indian Railway Traffic Service. He is currently posted as Joint Secretary in the Department of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, looking after logistics. Before joining Ministry of Commerce and Industry in 2018, he has worked in the Ministry of Railways in various positions. Managing operations, marketing, infrastructure planning, project implementation, PPP project planning and implementation, and Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed railway projects, etc. He has been recipient of many awards, including the National Award for Improving Efficiency in Operations of the Railways. Dr. Ahirwar has bachelor's degree in medicine. Surprisingly, he is a doctor of medicine, and has done professional courses in PPP from UNESCAP, certificate course in project finance, and PPP from Institute of Finance, New York. Besides the formal training in management of high-speed railways from Chengdu, China. He has represented Government of India at international conferences like Smart Rail Conference on passenger rail and transit technology at Charlotte, NC, USA, and has associated with high-tech partnership cooperation between India, Germany. The supply chain pillar of Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity, North-South Transport Corridor, and recently announced the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, to name a few. Dr. Ahirwar has been associated with Logistics Division since 2018 as Director and Joint Secretary, Ministry of Commerce and Industries from February 2020. He has been looking after international trade with regards to Northeast Asia, CIS, DEM, besides logistics in DPIIT as Joint Secretary. Has been associated with the launch and implementation of the flagship initiative of Government of India, namely the PM Gati Shakti and National Logistic Policy. He has also chaired the working group for logistics for trade under G20 presidency of India, and has been instrumental in adoption of high level. Before we start the conversation, I would request the IT cell of AIMA to play a short video on Gati Shakti. IT cell, please.
India, the fastest growing major economy in the world. To complement its accelerated growth, the government has been undertaking major reforms, and by leveraging its strength in digital technology, it has brought the different institutions of the government together as a single force through the launch of PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan in October 2021.
PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, next generation infrastructure और मल्टी मॉडल कनेक्टिविटी को इस नेशनल प्लान से गति शक्ति मिलेगी। इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर से जुड़ी सरकारी नीतियों में प्लानिंग से लेकर एग्जीक्यूशन तक को ये नेशनल प्लान गति शक्ति देगा।
Gati Shakti's objective is to attain an accelerated development of infrastructure and multimodal connectivity for speedy movement of goods and people in the country. The initiative has brought about transformation in the administrative processes at the central, state and union territory levels, leading to an integrated infrastructure planning and development. This integrated digital platform with multiple GIS data layers is building synergies essential for putting in place the next generation physical infrastructure. The availability of GIS-enabled data of all infrastructure assets and natural resources on the Gati Shakti platform, including the land records, is enabling digital surveys that supplement the field-level surveys, leading to a major reduction in the project timelines. It generates multiple options of route alignment, which is minimizing forest land infringement and optimizing costs, resulting in sustainable development. The well-connected spatial data ecosystem is also enabling holistic planning of an area in terms of its social infrastructure in addition to its economic infrastructure. Using this GIS technology mechanism, 100 critical infrastructure gaps in the country have been identified, and projects have been planned to bridge these gaps, giving multimodal connectivity to all major ports that are the country's XM gateways. More than 60 planning tools to address the specific requirements of the various social and economic sectors have also been made available on the platform. Whole of the government approach for integrated planning has been institutionalized with the creation of a network planning group with representation from all the major infrastructure ministries. This group is backed by a technical support unit. All the major and critical infrastructure projects evaluated through Gati Shakti mechanism de-risk projects at planning and implementation stages. The National Master Plan has given a big thrust to multimodal connectivity in India. Even though COVID caused a global slowdown, India's infrastructure has been growing at a rapid pace and has taken a major leap forward. This acceleration, brought in with a big capex push and reforms by the government, is reflected as improving efficiency of the country's logistics ecosystem. World Bank, recognizing this improvement, has upgraded India's ranking in its Logistics Performance Index 2023 report. With steady and accelerated growth of its logistics infrastructure, India is set to be into the club of top 25 logistics efficient countries of the world by the year 2030. PM Gati Shakti, expediting India's dream of an Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Uh, Thank you very much. Now, can I start the conversation, Dr. Haifa?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for the introduction. Little longish though. Yeah, and thanks for introducing Gati Shakti also through a very brief video, I guess, and it must have given you kind of an overview, and that sets a context as well. I think we can talk about.
Yes,
And
to
also-
start the conversation, I
Yeah.
would first like to know in what unique way is Gati Shakti important for as a project management tool? What is unique about it to manage large projects?
Yeah, Gati Shakti, PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, we always say it's a transformative approach. So approach is what is the focus of it. And when I talk about approach, I think there are two more pillars of PM Gati Shakti. One is the digital platform, and another is the administrative structure which has been created under this initiative. So there are three pillars of PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan. One is its approach, and the other two, as I explained. So the most important thing, if I'm to pick one from these three, is the approach. And the approach for this particular initiative is whole of the government approach. And through this mechanism, we have brought together in a most effective manner, possibly effective manner, all the ministries, departments, organizations, including public sectors in the government of India, or in the states and union territories together, right, through knitting through the administrative mechanism or knitting through the digital platform. So there's a synchronized or synchronization of the activities related to infrastructure planning, be it related to the sharing of data, be it related to obtaining views, or even obtaining clearances related to any projects. So this way, the whole of the government has come together through this initiative to make good plans and take decisions related to plans in a most objective manner using the latest technology. And then the technology, when we talk about, we come to the pillar 2 of it, that is National Master Plan Platform. Now, this platform, which is pillar 2 of this initiative, is a GIS database platform. It has mapped about 1,500 odd layers of GIS data, which is representing various infrastructure assets all over the country, all the geographical features which are relevant for making any infrastructure plan, and the infrastructure assets so mapped through their GIS coordinates include not only the infrastructure on the surface, but also underground, maybe the pipelines, or the power cables, telecom cables, civil lines, or whatever network is there, water pipelines as well. So all this infrastructure since is mapped, and we have in a way created a digital twin of the physical infrastructure or the geographical features available on the ground. I'll talk about it later in more detail, but this is pillar 2 in a nutshell. The pillar 3 is the administrative structure, which is the third unique factor, and that include the empowered group of secretaries, which is the highest level or highest tier in the administrative structure. This group is led by or chaired by the cabinet secretary himself, and there are 23 other departments of Government of India who are represented, which are represented by the principal secretaries. So this apex level. Then we have a network planning group, which is the group of planners or the heads of the planning divisions of different infrastructure ministries. And they are doing the dissection of every plan to make it more, improve its quality, to make it more multimodal, and to make it more integrated. So this is
what you have said is that all this has cut down the red tape, isn't it so? The time taken in various clearances and allotment of resources and so on and so forth. which used to take months and sometimes years. And I believe that all this is designed to cut down all those delays. About the technology which you mentioned, what are the key technological advances being embraced within the logistics sector?
All right. I think it's just across the board, when I think of logistics, I think of technology, be it related to digital technology or mechanization of the sector. So starting from planning of the infrastructure, planning of the logistics services, we are thinking about maximizing adoption of technology. And I'll just take a few examples. When it comes to digitization, we are digitizing the planning of infrastructure. One, of course, the most important tool, the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, which is, kind of a planning tool, which is definitely rationalizing and transforming the way we plan the infrastructure. So the planning is done through adoption of technology. Then we are looking at operationalizing also of the logistics infrastructure, for which again we are using technology. Then we are also using technology for implementation of the project. And once all these things are done, we are also looking at adoption of technology for even the marketing of these services or creation of the services. So across the board, we are adopting technology. And you must have heard about ULIP, was a unified logistics interface platform. This again, if I consider Gati Shakti National Master Plan as a digital twin of the physical infrastructure or the physical aspect of the country's space, when you look at it from the logistics perspective, ULIP is another digital twin of the operational purpose or dynamic aspect of the logistics or the service aspect of the logistics. So that's another big initiative which is bringing together a lot of other platforms and to make ULIP as the platforms, or I will call it polytechnology platform. Right?
Are you considering adoption of emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, IoT, or blockchain also?
Absolutely. In fact, the government is not to adopt, government is to promote adoption. And we are definitely providing that enabling atmosphere. We are also providing the basic and the broad framework for adoption of this technology. And we are also providing a kind of head start. As I said, ULIP also integrates with it and permits further integration of IoT, machine learning, artificial intelligence, blockchain. And particularly talking about the blockchain, we have provided another head start, a very specific head start, and have created a secure logistics data exchange, which basically, digitalizes. I would emphasize on this word digitalization over digitization. So digitalization is a process which is digitized and automated. So this digitalization of the documents or transactional documents in the logistics space is being done through uses of blockchain technology. And we have created one platform for this. This is being called as SLDE. And all those stakeholders like banks, the trade, the logistics service providers who are involved in this thing, they're also being onboarded.
Can you give an example how artificial intelligence is going to help in project management by some example? So
wonderful. I mean, it's like this, though it is not fully adopted at this stage, we are in a very initial stage of its adoption. But once I have the entire data set, suppose on the National Master Plan, I have a complete 100% data set on it, and where we can say I have the digital twin of the physical infrastructure on the ground, then the artificial intelligence would also use the data, the dynamic data, which is also to be integrated or would be integrated onto the master plan. And this dynamic data would be sourced from other platforms like ULIP, right? Once I have the physical and the fixed data and also added to that dynamic data, artificial intelligence would even give me the demand map right? What are the hot spots where there's a congestion happening? Or it can even extrapolate further, where some congestion can happen on the traffic routes or junctions or the hubs in future, maybe 10-year hence or 5-year hence. And the artificial intelligence maybe, wake me up on a particular day in the morning, say, Mr. Planner, come on, you have to make a plan for this particular area or this location. Because if you do not plan today, maybe tomorrow I have, or maybe a year after, you may have a congestion here. So this, we are calling it predictive planning, right? Or futuristic planning. So artificial intelligence is going to help in a big way. But that has to, may, again, be founded on a huge database and a complete database. There cannot be a patchy data on which the artificial intelligence can be harnessed.
The
But we
whole
are
process
definitely
is very, very complicated and complex. And there are enormous challenges, I'm sure, because the people in the government and various, even though some training must have been given in its implementation, what are the challenges and what are the solutions, in implementing technology at this level and changing the complete mindset of people, who have been used to enormous delays and red tape and the procedures and so on and so forth. What is government's plan to face those challenges?
I think the last thing which you mentioned was the most relevant out here, when changing the mindset. We all are used to either on the consumption side of a service or on the production or supply side of the service, we are definitely used to the delays. We have reconciled and kind of, to an extent, become cynical as well, that things cannot happen fast. This is the, kind of the fact of life. So we have accepted. Now, this sometimes may sound like is a good thinking to go with, but this is actually becoming the challenge. Now, on the supply side, when we adopt technology or we introduce technology, and this adoption or the introduction is just not by the government, but also by the private sector. The biggest problem is its acceptance, its adoption, right? So the customer who are not used to, or the consumer of the service who are not used to that speed may feel insecure about it, may not trust, in fact, the solution which the technology is providing, right? But yes, I'm sure it's only the time which has a solution in store. And it may take a little more time, but depending on the strength of the solution the technology provides to us, I think that's going to be adopted very fast. And talking about the same on the government side, you very well understand that we all understand, in fact, that for bringing about transformative change in a shortest possible time, the initiative has to be top down, right? And in case of PM Gati Shakti, this is PM Gati Shakti, right? So there is a Gati, there's a Shakti, and which is available at the top. There's a PM favorite project, right? Or the initiative. So, I mean, that confidence flows through the entire governmental edifice, and we are, feeling more confident in taking it forward and at a very fast pace. So despite the challenge, we are definitely getting the success and taking it forward and through.
Are some projects being monitored at the PM level, and what are those projects, if any?
And it would be difficult to tell those names of the projects, even the numbers, but let me tell you, this is a planning process which you are seeing on the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan. We have hitherto undertaken planning of about 119 projects in last 1.5 years or so on this platform. And 119 projects, they're major projects, important projects, having an estimated cost of at least 500 crores or more than that. So there would be some projects of 500 crores and ranging between 500 to about 2,000 or 3,000 crore or 5,000 crores. So such 119 projects of which total value would come around 14 or 15 lakh crores, have been evaluated and planned on this platform, right? And they're being definitely monitored either directly or indirectly by the Prime Minister's office. Another platform which is created, which is again integrated to the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan platform, is a pure monitoring platform. And this is called Project Monitoring Group. And this group is also having a dashboard or a platform on which there are thousands of projects which have been mapped and being monitored continuously by the highest level, that is the Cabinet Secretary's office, right? So once the project comes into the implementation phase, they are transferred to the PMG platform. And on this PMG platform, we have everybody, the central government ministries or the state departments, going even up to the district administration, right? And they are meeting very frequently. I mean, I'm saying very frequently because in terms of the project implementation, the frequency, if it is on a fortnightly basis or weekly basis, I think it's a too high frequency of monitoring at the highest level. So that's happening in a big way. Yeah.
Are there any measures in place to ensure data security and privacy?
Definitely.
Any protocols or guidelines concerning the data-driven technologies?
Yes. See, this is all about data. What we are talking today about PM Gati Shakti or ULIP or such other platforms, FOIS, or we have National Logistics Platform, Marine version. We have air cargo community systems or port community systems or inland waterways related platforms. All these systems are only capturing data, right? And from various sources. And you understand that the data is sometimes important from security perspective, important from commercial perspective, strategic importance is there. And there is a risk of also the data getting to wrong hands, which will lead to some speculative exercise. So therefore, we have adopted very stringent protocol for data security, privacy, and for that, there are protocols which have been adopted, and only authorized individuals can access these systems within the government. And there again, the two-factor authentication is done, and every log of the whatever activity is going on, and the subscribers or the authorized users who are logging onto the system, that's being kept and recorded. So I mean, it's completely secured environment which we are having data in.
It has to be. You mentioned a large number of projects, 119, I believe, which are taken on the Gati Shakti platform.
Yeah.
Just wanted to know if there are any in Uttar Pradesh you are aware of.
There are many. I won't be having at hand the information about state specific, but yes, we have, besides taking up the infrastructure or economic infrastructure development and is planning on the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, we have also now extended this facility to the social sector ministries, right? And social sector, you understand, the majority or all of the social sector subjects are assigned to either the state
and hospitals, etc.
Sorry?
Colleges and hospitals,
yeah.
etc.
Yes. Social sector means related to the health services, education services, welfare schemes, sports facilities, all those ministries, right? So we have either 22 ministries who are in the social sector, and the social sector state definitely has a greater role or a sole role, you know. So if I am to take particular example of Uttar Pradesh has used PM Shakti National Master Plan for the education sector, right? They have created their own portal. This is called Pahuch portal, all right? And this Pahuch portal is basically utilizing Gati Shakti and the database which is available in Gati Shakti, infrastructure related or assets related, other facilities related, for planning of the schools. the connectivity to the schools, right? And also the location
Government
of the
schools or
school.
private also?
Yeah, government or private. So private in the sense that if the private school, that organizations are coming to the government for obtaining clearance, government would be able to see whether there's an adequate saturation of the schooling or infrastructure or education infrastructure in that particular area or not. They
And
may
all exceeding
suggest.
500 crores, all exceeding 500
No,
crores.
no. In this case, come on. Regarding the social sector ministries, there and especially about the states, there's no bar of 500 crores.
Okay.
It can be as small as 1 crore also. That's not an issue.
Okay.
So one more thing to make you understand this. National Master Plan platform is just not one platform available to all. It's basically a platform of the platforms again. So 36 states and UTs have their own planning platform, say the subset of the National Master Plan, which are again GIS platforms having shared the same set of data or similar data, maybe more exhaustively pertaining to the particular state or UT, right? And these planning platforms or the portals are integrated to National Master Plan, right? So there's an exchange of data which is happening. There's exchange of information which is happening among these platforms and the portals, right? So that's what Uttar Pradesh is also using, and Gujarat has also been using National Master Plan data as well as their own respective state plan data for the purpose of planning schools, their connectivity, and the concentration.
Well, you did mention about the requirement of changing the mindset, but it also requires extensive training to the government who are government officials who are handling those projects. How is that training part being addressed?
Yeah, this is a big component, and the concern is absolutely valid. We had this concern at the outset itself, and therefore the BISEG-N, the Bhaskaracharya Institute of Space Application and Geoinformatics, as a national level institution located in Ahmedabad, right? They have just not only developed this platform and operating and maintaining it, and are the technical advisor or knowledge partner for us, but they are also helping us in the capacity building. Now, they have been engaged in the capacity building for last more than a year or so, and they have trained more than 2,500 people in the central government and the states. Now, these trained individuals are potential trainers also, right? And then they have also provided the training modules on the PM Gati Shakti platform itself, which is helping further propagation of the idea or the understanding about the platform. So it's not becoming a constraint as such in utilization, because it's quite user-friendly to an extent. And those who have been given authorized access to the platform, they are trained as well. So it's a 2 or 3 days training which is required. And once given to 2-3 people or 30 to 40% of the people in a group, suppose there's a PM Gati Shakti cell in a particular state, suppose UP. So there would be 15 people therein. Out of the 15, if 5 are trained, these 5 are going to train further 10 more people. So that's happening like in that manner.
So you think that there is not much of training requirement for implementing these projects?
So requirement is there, but there's no constraint. There's no constraint. We have adequate capacity and adequate number of people, that critical mass is available.
And this one organization at Ahmedabad, which you mentioned, can cater for the entire country.
Yeah, they are doing. They are doing, definitely. And it's not only they are organizing the training sessions at Ahmedabad, the guys are going also to the states, even to the northeastern states, coming to Delhi. They have a center in Delhi as well. And we are going to create one more center for training of the people or the officers involved in this at Delhi, at Pragati Maidan.
Well, AIMA is an organization, which can handle to some extent this part across the country, because
that's wonderful.
They have local management associations at 67, 68 places in the country, and So it can be thought of.
I really appreciate that proposal, and we'll definitely have it examined.
Now,
And-
there must be a lot of collaboration with the private entities, isn't it? Or technical companies to drive technical advancements in logistics. Are there any opportunities for collaboration between government and these tech companies to further innovate the logistic industry?
I think collaboration is what the government is promoting, and government per se. I mean, we see our job is only for generally and largely about governance per se, and we tend to catalyze business, but we do not want to get into the business directly, right? But we want to promote and extensively promote business and collaboration among business. We are though providing a head start, as I say, in many cases, like through these initiatives. There are two kinds of collaboration which are happening. One is, of course, the B2B or the private to private collaboration, which government is definitely catalyzing through policy initiatives or declaring these broad framework. And there's another collaboration which happens between the government and the private sector that we call as PPP. So through this PPP mechanism, we are definitely collaborating for development of various projects or operation and maintenance of these projects as well. So any project today which is coming into the public sector or which is a public utility, you would see in most cases there is a collaboration between government and the private sector through PPP. And even the EPC is also kind of a collaboration with the government and the
That's
private
right. As the Joint Secretary of DPIIT, are you in the loop of all these projects being handled across the country? Like, how do you operate? You being driving this activity at the Government of India level. For example, if there is some power project in Uttar Pradesh which is happening, does it come to your knowledge that what's happening on that particular project?
See, as I said, there are two different mechanisms or frameworks which are operating. One is a PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, which is primarily about planning of a project, right? And that too within the government, right? So when the planning of the project is happening, we are definitely not thinking about implementation and what is happening during implementation of the project. But yes, through the project monitoring group, we in the government get to know about what is happening and what is not happening at any project in the state.
Who are in that group? Who are the people in that?
Right. This is like this project monitoring group who's monitoring not only the public sector projects or PPP projects, but also the major private projects of national importance.
Most of the power plants are coming in power sector.
Yeah, so that's what. So this is being monitored at the highest level. I would say the secretary coordination in the cabinet secretariat, right? So he's only second to cabinet secretary. So he chairs that committee, and we are also member of that committee, like either me as joint secretary or other joint secretary of DPIIT, or the joint and the joint secretary of the concerned ministry. Suppose the power ministry, they would be there. So everybody who is involved in the entire hierarchy in implementation of the project, be the DPIIT coordinates that, right? And then and we provide a secretarial support to the cabinet secretariat for monitoring this, and we are also maintaining that platform, which I said PMG platform. So yes, we are involved in monitoring, overseeing the implementation of the project, major projects, not very small projects again. Yeah.
Is there any system of fixing accountability or transparency? Like if something is held up in Environment Department for clearance for long. Now, how is it managed? Suppose the proposal is stuck there, then how do you ensure that it is cleared, or if there are objections and then counter objections and replies and so on and so forth? Because that happens So how do you manage that? Suppose a
I think,
project comes
yeah,
from the
I
portal
think,
and it needs clarifications and so on and so forth. That keeps on happening.
very interesting question. Let me tell you, Mr. Mathur, very insightful. So I'm drawn to introducing another platform for this. This is called National Single Window System.
Hmm.
Right. This is a national platform which is all about clearances. Okay, be it about investment, be it about obtaining NOCs from various departments. And on this platform, a single window, we have all the ministries of Government of India on board and all the states. Now, this onboarding is there in some cases 100% as far as ministries are concerned in the Government of India. They all are there. I mean, I can say 80 to 90% for obtaining the clearances. And then all the states to a different extent, right? Now, any clearance related to any project can today be obtained through this national single window, right? And this again is integrated with project monitoring group platform and the national master plan platform, right? So there's an ecosystem of these platforms, which one is looking at, suppose, planning, another looking at implementation, another looking at clearances, right? So this is all digital government. I started with the digital twin. So this is the digital twin of the governance of the project as well. So the entire ecosystem is kind of creating a digital twin of the processes.
Well, that's okay. But you see, let me put it this way. Uttar Pradesh had signed MOUs worth 36 lakhs crores. And many of those projects exceeded 500 crores. Now, we know that many of the projects won't take off. And they get delayed for want of various clearances. Now, how does Gati Shakti help there? Because a lot of clearances are required, and that is at the state government level. Might be some at the central government level also. But how will Gati Shakti come to know that all those projects are languishing? As a matter of fact, out of 36 lakhs, only a couple of projects would materialize. I mean, that is the normal perception. Of course, things have started moving, but then how would Gati Shakti help in actually bringing them to the ground level?
Yeah, so let me put it like this. Government, I mean, the PM Gati Shakti tends to bring whole of the government as far as planning of the project is concerned, but it is not the entire government beyond even project planning, which is brought onto this platform, and it would help like that. But definitely one thing is there. See, when it comes to the government of Uttar Pradesh or government of any state for that matter, even the ministry which is receiving these proposals or entering into MOUs, I think MOUs are just wish list. Maybe commonly shared wish list between the potential investor and that particular government, right? Now, this wish list has to be realized. And for realizing this wish list, there is a activity called project development activity, which involves feasibility study being done, or the DPR being done, and the project being then planned.
All that can be a part of the Gati Shakti platform?
Yes, again. So Gati Shakti platform provides us again a facility and enables even creating or undertaking the DPR, right? Most of the activities which are included in the DPR preparations, they are again onboarded and integrated onto PM Gati Shakti platform, right? Now, to give you just a snapshot, we call it a digital survey. Any project would involve a survey, right?
Yeah.
For which you'll have to go on foot and do a survey, right? Keep your survey equipments on the ground, do an exercise, and come out after maybe a month's exercise or a couple of months exercise with a survey report, which would not consider two things. what lies underground, what also is the land boundaries and whose land it is through which that particular suggested alignment would be passing through. But when I look at the digital survey, which I'm doing or I'm able to do on the National Master Plan, I have full coordinates of the land boundaries basis the ownership. So that's we call cluster level details, right? I also have a map of underground infrastructure, right? Now, once these two vital elements, which are main determinants also, or major determinants also of the survey, they are added to the rest of the information. Your video, if you have noticed, the digital surveys are supplementing the physical surveys or actual ground level surveys, right? So now this digital survey is accomplishing the purpose which is to be done under during the DPR preparations. So that's there. It's facilitating.
You see, in the conventional project management, like you have the PERT, CPM, etc., you assign time, duration to each activity, and then you plan the activity. There are some parallel activities and so on and so forth. Now, that kind of mechanism, is it built in Gati Shakti in some manner? Because one has to allocate some time and the sequence of activity. How does it happen in Gati Shakti?
Yeah, I think that's, one is the project planning, implementation, operationalization, commissioning of the project, which is like being done as different activities during the project cycle. However, project management is just not a tool or a single shot solution. So the project management techniques, which are there, you're talking about PERT and CPM, they of course are not there on this platform, but this platform can be utilized in conjunction with your management techniques and can definitely provide a solution. But it itself is not a management tool.
Oh, it is not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my last question would be, can you share any success stories or notable examples where Gati Shakti has already demonstrated positive outcomes in improving project delivery, cost effectiveness, or overall logistic performance within the country? And if you have any example of UP, we would be very happy to hear about that also.
I mean, the examples are galore. In fact, I'll share later a compendium of the so-called success stories. There would be 75 odd success stories, which would demonstrate
from the start of the project to finish, or
from the start to finish, right? So of course, the finishing, if you mean commissioning the project, it's not because we are just 1.5 years old, and the people have started planning the projects maybe from 2022 rather, of 2022. So they must have not come on ground and been implemented. So but yes, start to finishing of the planning of the project, that has definitely happened in many of the projects, and we will share because many such stories maybe separately later on, right?
So there must be some questions from the audience. Can you see any questions in the chat box, sir?
Let me try this. Okay.
Any questions from the audience? We still have 8-9 minutes. So if there are any questions, we can take them.
Video. Yeah, you can share. There's one request for sharing this video with attendees. Yes, this video can be shared. The only person to provide it. Yeah, there's one question asked by Mr. Qazi Mairaz Ahmed, IRC Fiki, and so this question is like this: is ULIP also intend to provide a tech backbone for real-time visibility of moving assets like trucks crossing tollways, railway network views, busy or blocked roads, etc.? Yes, it does provide, as far as tech backbone is concerned, it is having data drawn from 32 systems today pertaining to 8 ministries, be it road-related or rail-related movement, or even shipping-related, inland waterways, or container-related movement, especially the EXIM container. So it has that data. Now, basis that data which is available, there are a couple of systems which we call them use cases, right? They have been developed. And to start with, we have developed logistics data bank, which tracks containers on a real-time basis. So this is RFID technique for tracking of containers from the port into the hinterland back to the port. So entire turnaround of the container within the hinterland is being tracked through this. Then there are other systems being built by different private enterprises, which are, tracking the moving assets. So it's there, and you are free to develop your own system for tracking different assets using the database which is available on the system. We have Vahan Sarthi related data. We have toll related data integrated to ULIP, right? So all this data is definitely available, and you can use it for. Then we have another question: process of planning and monitoring being done for onboard projects on PM Gati Shakti. Yes, we are definitely planning, that's for sure. And this process, when the planning process starts from conducting that DPR or the feasibility study, then doing the surveys that's being catalyzed or facilitated by PM Gati Shakti, then there are evaluation process which goes, which is very important and otherwise a time delaying factor, which we call as inter-ministerial consultation, which used to take sometimes months, right? It is happening in just 3 hours. The network planning group sits for a meeting and evaluates a project, takes view of different infrastructure ministries, or including from the Ministry of Forest and Environment. So they all are giving their views, and the consultation happens in 3 hours time, which used to take maybe 2 or 3 months earlier. So that's being facilitated. Monitoring, as I said, it's being done through implementation process. Monitoring is being done through the project monitoring group platform. Any corporates using Gati Shakti? Yeah, corporates would be using Gati Shakti indirectly. Wherever the corporates are doing projects which we call as PPP projects, wherein there is some stake of the government, then government, since having the access to Gati Shakti platform, they can provide also kind of indirect access to the corporates as well. Otherwise, it's not open generally to the private sector at present. Could you please share some of the artificial intelligence tools used in your digital project management platform? I think I cannot be, at present, of course, we do not have tool as to say AI-based tool for planning, but we are definitely considering having some tools like that integrated to this platform. So what are specific objectives of Gati Shakti? I've already explained, I think. Basically, if I have to say, the larger objective of PM Gati Shakti is to create such infrastructure and services to ensure the seamlessness in the logistics sector, in a most cost-effective, most efficient manner, and of course, with adequate safety. So Gati Shakti next 2 years, we will have that AI also on Gati Shakti. So more of a predictive planning and more exhaustive planning and maybe more complete. NICDC is related to logistics per se, but otherwise Gati Shakti, they are just one of the ministries or department or organization for that matter, though we are in the same department, in the same ministry. So NICDC is a public sector, but NICDC is also into development of industrial infrastructure or manufacturing facilities. Therefore, it also requires connectivity infrastructure. And for planning the connectivity infrastructure, they are exhaustively using PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan. So as a technology partner, how can we partner? You would explain the collaboration. So that's PPP, I would say. Yeah, the best way. And on ULIP, you can always have your own use cases integrated through APIs. So you can have API of ULIP and have your own application developed. How the critical
How do you
project
see Gati Shakti in next 2 years?
That's an important question. As I said, in 2 years hence, I think the Gati Shakti is going to become more adopted, and at present it is just an additional tool, maybe, or coming as a very efficient solution for planning of projects, but in course of time is going to become the only platform on which any project plan would be made, be it of a rupee or of 500 crores or more than that, thousands of crores. So that's going to be all pervasive across the governmental sector, maybe the central government, state government, and the union territories, and going up to the corporates as well through the PPP, which is definitely happening. And we never know, it can be open to the private sector.
Very critical projects identified by Ministry of Railways integrated with Gati Shakti?
That's wonderful question again. We are just not using Gati Shakti for planning of the project. We are also using it for doing the diagnostics to identify the infrastructural gaps. But as I said, infrastructural gaps would be more identified, more effectively identified when we have AI also added to it, right? So, but at present, it's kind of a manual or semi-automatic or digitized process. What we are doing is we are looking at various economic nodes, and over that, we are also looking the layers of infrastructure, and then we are seeing the gaps between those economic nodes and the infrastructure, connecting infrastructure. Then we also have consultation with concerned ministries, the state governments, to understand the requirement of that particular infrastructure. And then we come to a conclusion that, okay, yes, this particular gap in the infrastructure, which is physically seen on the National Master Plan, can be, converted into a project. So last year, we have identified about 156 infrastructure gaps, which was like seen on the NMP, which were discussed with the state governments and concerned ministries. And then out of those 156, we identified 100 gaps, and for this we have made an announcement in the budget for and allocating our 75,000 crores just to develop these the set of infrastructure to bridge those gaps.
Dr. T.K. Mandal says that I am confused. Is Gati Shakti only for logistics projects or others also? I think they are for others also, not only logistics.
Yeah, that's true. So it's about infrastructure. Infrastructure of any scale, infrastructure in any sector, be the economic sector or transportation sector per se, or the logistics sector per se, or even in the social sector. So you can just get over this confusion. You just simply consider that it's for any infrastructure planning.
So you can pick up any questions. There are so many, and we are exceeding the time. But you can pick up any other questions.
Yeah, there's one question. It is popular perception that till now unimportant projects are being handed over to Gati Shakti unit of railways for execution. Your comment, please. Though I'm from railways and then onto this side, but this is quite internal to the railways. I don't think any unimportant project. Is there any unimportant project for which?
But if the railway decides to put unimportant projects on Gati Shakti, they are welcome to do it, isn't it?
Not only, Mr. Mathur, but the thing is that any project is decided for its importance vis-a-vis the allocation of the resources, right? If the financial resources have been allocated to a particular project, small or big, it doesn't matter to whom it has been assigned, which agencies, executing that project. So the value of a project or importance of a project should be determined on the basis of the financial resources allocated to it, not in terms of the organization to which it is assigned.
So, is that all? I don't think there are any more. How
Somebody is
stable?
asking at this stage 1:32. What's the time like?
132. Yeah,
Okay.
we have exceeded
This
2 minutes only. We
this
can.
is like I
Uh,
would say सारी महाभारत खत्म हो गई अब सीता और कौन थे रामायण खत्म हो गई जी. All right. अच्छा मैं बता देता हूँ सिंपल वर्ड्स में गति शक्ति एक प्रोजेक्ट प्लानिंग प्लेटफॉर्म है जो कि GIS डेटा के ऊपर बेस्ड है. GIS data means latitude and longitude of any physically seen asset or available asset. Or this is just not Google. It is just not SOI map also, Survey of India. It is just not any other map or a GIS map even. It is actually representing every asset with a polygon data, not point data. For example, I take, suppose Parliament, you guys would, I'm just giving a common reference. So Parliament, if you see on Google, it would show as a point data, the Parliament, right? And it may be the entry gate of the Parliament or the North Block or South Block for that matter. But when you see it on Gati Shakti platform, you would see the boundaries, the coordinates of the boundaries of the Parliament, boundaries of North Block or the South Block. And all the boundaries are represented through the GIS coordinate latitude and longitude, right? And the interval of each coordinate which is picked would be as good as 1 meter, 60 centimeters or 2 meters, whatever. So as may be the size of the asset. So the resolution is that high and that good. And the data is polygon data, not point data. So जब मेरे पास ये information है कि physical assets क्या क्या हैं, तो I can plan any alignment just on the desktop. And this is as accurate as the ground situation is. And sometimes more accurate than the physical surveys, right? But of course, it depends on the extent of exhaustive data mapped on the platform of that particular location. So this is again, I'm still saying this thing that it's not 100% data which has been mapped about every asset, but a lot of data about a lot of assets which are relevant for planning of infrastructure projects is there already on this platform. And it's further being enriched. Every day the enrichment is happening, right? I think I have clarified.
I
and
think
simply.
I think that was very good, and thank you very much, Dr. Ayuvar. You were very insightful. You were very lucid and explained the whole process very lucidly. And I'm sure that the participants must have benefited a lot. And this is actually a very major achievement, a major transformative intervention by the government, which has never happened earlier. We had become used to, the projects being delayed not by months and years. I think some projects got delayed by 25 years, as long as that much. And everyone, got away. There was no accountability, and everyone was really protecting his baseline, and everyone was happy. And but probably this would expose all the stakeholders on a national platform. Everyone will be able to see everything, and probably that will bring in some degree of accountability. And thank you very much, Dr. Ahiwar, for your time. And thank you very much for your lucid explanation. And so thank you very much. We had
Thank you
about
so much. It's been pleasure in the midst of all the experts, the clinicians, the Konoshop's logistics sector. Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's been a privilege, and thanks for very insightful questions. In fact, we get an opportunity to understand your
people
perspective.
know very little about this platform. They only read in the newspapers that something like this is happening. That's all. So we thought that it was a good opportunity. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Good.
everyone.
Very
So
well
we-
organized. Thank you
we,
very much.
Sign off.